To multiply your views and grow your channel at lightning speed, introducing the ultimate video marketing toolkit, trusted by industry giants like Tesla, Decathlon, P&G, Samsung, and Forbes. Now it's your turn to shine. Unlock the secrets of the YouTube stardom with 3 easy-to-use tools that will transform your content and captivate your audience with no prior experience. Step 1. Dive into keyword analytics for YouTube. Discover the hottest keywords, get inspired by trending content, and optimize your videos to reach an audience that you're eager to watch. Step 2. With the all-in-one video marketing platform, create stunning videos from scratch. Record, edit, and host with ease. Turn your ideas into captivating videos and even repurpose text content with help of AI. And step 3. Leap ahead of the competition with Rank Tracker for YouTube. Monitor your rankings, uncover SEO strategies that work, and manage your campaigns effortlessly. It's time to elevate your video content and claim your spot in the limelight. Join the ranks of the pros and transform your channel today. So click the link, sign up, and let the magic begin. Your audience is waiting. Let's make your videos unforgettable. Hey, what's up everyone? Happy Friday. Stefan, my man, the first one here like always. Happy Friday, brother. Today we got a special guest, Christopher Levy. He is the founder of Niche.site, and we will be talking about SEO storytelling with data visualizations. He was a professor at University of Miami on visualizations and data analytics. So this will be a great conversation today on how we can build dashboards with some visualizations that we can all use in our reports, presentations, and meetings when we present to leadership, even clients. Rayham.com, yo Dre. Don't be shy, anyone. I see a bunch of you out there. Say hi in the live chat. Lucy says hi. Logan, what's up, Dre? Ernesto, yo. If you're just tuning in, we have our special guest today, Christopher Levy, the founder of Niche.site, and we will be talking about SEO storytelling with data, learning how to create data visualizations. Be sure to get your questions ready. Be sure to ask them in the live chat. I have a few of my own, which we'll be going through throughout the interview. Let me make sure. Make sure Christopher has the login. Oh yeah. Be sure, if you guys haven't checked out SEMrush's video marketing tools, check that out. You can go to seo.video/marketing tools. Let me see. You can just check out the link in the description. Also, don't forget to visit our sponsors, SEOnitro.com and search-intelligence.co.uk. Search SEO Nitro is a way you can help control your backlinks, and you can use it. They have some premium sites on there. You can also use them from some second tiers. And search-intelligence.co.uk by Ferry is a digital PR company that can get you some really, really high authority backlinks. And hey, maybe you can use SEO Nitro to tier to them. Next week, we actually have another Chris. I think it's Pentley. I think that's his last name. We'll be talking about Haro link building. But this week, we are with Christopher Levy, and we will be talking about SEO storytelling with data visualizations. Don't be shy, guys. I see a few of you out there. Say hi in the live chat. Let me know where you're watching from. Luther says hello. Again, if you're just tuning in, we got Christopher Levy, and we'll be talking about SEO storytelling with data visualizations for SEO. It's a great topic. I feel that we can all use this for when we're pitching our clients, or even just kind of showing our performance reports, showing how we can get more budget to leadership with all the SEO metrics that we can actually visualize and help tell the story better. Chris, I know Chris from Mostly Marketing. If you don't know that Slack group, Mostly Marketing by Liam, you can search for it. And you're also on LinkedIn. Search Mostly Marketing. You'll be able to see that. Oh, I see Chris in the background. Chris, my man, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Oh, yeah. Sound good, brother.
Thank you for the help with that mixer a couple months ago.
Of course. I mean, so how are you playing with it? Are you like using it to like switch like your volumes up and down in your headphones and on like the actual sounds and stuff like that?
Yeah, a little bit. You know, you can see the Star Wars droid in the background. My wife and I made in Disney last year, and it's sort of the mixer reminds me a little bit of the thing on Darth Vader's chest with the lights going up and down.
Oh yeah.
So that's what I think every time I look at that.
Love it. So is it also it's powering your mic right now, right? So it's like
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, I got the XLR mic, so no USB, and I'm liking it pretty much.
Yeah, no, I think XLR mics have more. I don't know. I just feel it's more analog at least, and more have that natural thing. I'm not sure how it is with the USBs, but I'm sure it's pretty good. But you know, sound was made with this for years, right? So why change it?
Maybe you should do a show on audio video setups for SEO professionals looking to get out there a little bit.
No. You know, I was actually thinking about doing like at least something more on like, you know, live streaming for professionals, or like, you know, building a, whether it's a show or anything like that, and just showing off gear and cool things like that.
Yeah, I've been on so many meetings over the past few years where people at Fortune 500 companies have like their bed in the background, and you barely
exactly
hear them, and meanwhile they're pulling $250K with their equity. And
all right. So we're coming close. So we have 30 more seconds. I'm going to go ahead and put you on mute, and I'm going to introduce you in about 8 minutes after the hour.
Sure.
All right. Kenneth says, hi, Chris and Dre. Hey, what's up, SEO pros? Big news! I recently discovered SEO Nitro, and let me tell you, it's a game changer. In just days, I saw incredible results that blew my mind. With SEO Nitro, you can get links from thousands of different C-block IPs, the most powerful links at a fraction of the cost. Patent software lets you control your entire backlink profile in minutes. Add, remove, and change links at any time. Protect your site from Google's changes with SEO Nitro's revolutionary backlinking software. Imagine having the power to have laser-targeted themed backlinks, automated link spinning, set it and forget it. Thousands of stellar sites and manual and automated posting options. SEO Nitro is the ultimate SEO weapon. Head on to SEONitro.com now to revolutionize your SEO game. Don't miss out on page 1. It's just click away.
Yeah. Hey, time to get it started, no delay, let's work. Wanna see you be an SEO expert. Paul Andre De Vera, steady dropping knowledge. Over 15 years in the game, so he knows all about it. Master the art of SEO, you will be amazed. Time to get your brand off page to on page. Dropping knowledge, legendary for sure. Whether you're just getting started or self-employed entrepreneur. Yeah, let's go. Subscribe to the SEO video show.
Hey, welcome to another episode of the SEO video show where SEO is alive and fun. My name is Paul Andre De Vera, aka Dre, and I curate SEO videos released within the past week into about 1-minute clips. My favorite part of the show is when I get to introduce my guest, and my guest this week is the founder of Niche.site, Christopher Levy. Before we get started, let's say what's up to everyone in chat. I see Michael, Ray, Kenneth, Luther, Ernesto, Logan, Lucy, Stefan. Welcome everyone. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Now let's get on with the show.
Hey Dre, why did the SEO cross the road? They wanted to get hit by traffic.
Anatomy of a Search Result by Gary Lish. Let's check this one out.
In many cases, the title link is identical to the title element of the HTML on the page, which site owners have direct control over. It may also be the headings on the page, which, again, means that site owners can control them. In some cases, especially where the content of the page is unavailable for some reason, it may be generated using external sources like anchor texts, which are the visible part of links. The snippet of a text result, just like the title link, comes from the content of the page. If the content is unavailable, then the result might not have a snippet at all. In general, the snippet is chosen from what the users would see when they land on the page. But if there's not enough text on the page, it might be picked from otherwise invisible text to users, such as the alt attributes of images and the description element. Since the text of a snippet only comes from the content of the page, you have direct control over it. And you can experiment with what we show in the search results pretty easily.
This is a reminder how vital image alt tags and descriptions can be. I mean, Gary just confirmed that this is data that was pulled if insufficient information was available. This is an excellent way for you to test some ranking pages with only images. I mean, I know Terd Kubaitis actually references the search query games, and you can see the first result on that page are just all images. Okay, the role of PR in the age of AI. Let's check this one out.
A few folks have coined terms like AI optimization or AI engineization or things like that, which is fine. But public relations really is one of the drivers of that. For example, if I get a piece of content placed with a popular website like martech.org, for example, there's a lot of syndication. A lot of people copy them, sometimes with permission, sometimes without. All those copies also end up in generative AI models because they all train on this corpus called Common Crawl, commoncrawl.org. And in Common Crawl, you have pretty much the public internet. So the more your content is shared and published in more and different places, the more likely it is that a model is going to train on it. And the more times it sees your name, the better. This is why it's a good idea to get into publications that have a lot of syndication. So one of the things that a good PR firm or a good PR practitioner would know to do is look at how much distribution any one piece of content gets on a per outlet basis. How many times does somebody copy a Content Marketing Institute article? How many times does somebody copy Christopher Penn's blog? But you could say, like, yeah, this outlet may not have the biggest audience, but boy, does it get a lot of syndication. And as a result, from the purposes and intent of getting machines to ingest that and associate it, it's a really good outlet. So that's an interesting.
I know PR syndication is not exactly the same, but it involves getting a piece of content scattered throughout the web. Just be sure to mention in your brand in your press releases. Okay, local SEO tip by Joy Hawkins on Edge of the Web. Let's check this one out.
I was talking to our garage door client, and we were talking about like garage door opener keywords. When you search on Google for garage door openers, all you get is like, I mean, the SERPs are insane. You've got product listings, you've got big giant sites like Home Depot ranking with their product pages, and it's very much like a customer serve, like, you know, e-commerce kind of experience. And while yes, my garage door client does install garage doors openers, they are not a good fit for that SERP. Like, they just don't fit in there. And maybe they're ranking 30th right now. I would never spend effort in trying to get them to rank for that. Like, I wouldn't be like, oh, we need to create product listings. We need to go out and make YouTube videos about this. Like, it's too cluttered. There's no opportunity. So we like to look for search results that, first of all, like, you have a chance at going after,
Right.
and ones that are going to like convert too, right? So I think that's a lot of things that I've seen done wrong in local. I've done audits on realtor sites where all their content is about gardening. I'm like, cool, this is bringing in traffic, but like, I'm pretty sure people researching gardening tips don't need a realtor right now, and there's zero conversion.
When going after keywords, I mean, always remember this. So it's a reminder to just look at the search results and to understand the intent and the type of content you should create. Nathan Gotch's favorite SEO tip. This is a good one. Let's check this out.
Number 1, splinter your content. If your website is currently ranking for any keywords, then you're sitting on an SEO goldmine. Here's what you need to do. Open SEMrush, enter your domain, and go to Organic Research, click on the Positions dropdown and select 51 through 100. I call these clustering opportunities. In short, you'll likely have a page ranking for keywords that will never be able to rank number 1 in Google because it isn't hyper-focused enough. And that's when splintering your content comes into play. For example, Gotch SEO ranks 57 for Surfer SEO group by with a page reviewing Surfer. This page can never rank number 1 for this keyword because it isn't relevant enough. So what I would do is create a dedicated page for Surfer SEO group by and then internally link these pages together. And I've tested this thousands of times at this point, and the splintered content outperforms the original 9 times out of 10. For example, I went through this exact process with Gotch SEO when we were ranking for iMovie crashes when importing around position 60 with my general iMovie review page. So I splintered this idea into its own dedicated asset, and it's ranked for 2 years without much effort.
I love this tactic, and we'll definitely add this to my keyword and topic research methods. This is a great way to create new content for large companies whose product pages rank for keywords, and that doesn't rank really well. And you don't have the access to edit these pages because sometimes they have to go through a lot of approvals, and you have to they're usually untouched for at least a year. Okay, now we are at my favorite part of the show. Please ask questions, and I will address them on the topic, and I will address them in the order that they are received. But before we introduce our guest, here's a word from our sponsor. Are you struggling to get high authority backlinks? My buddy Ferry has a perfect solution for you.
How much do you think this digital PR campaign is worth? Wait just 1 minute before you answer. Watch as we hijack the news with Taylor Swift and Barbie to get you the links. Now we can take this data set from ONS and paste it right into your emails to get you the links. Now how much do you think this campaign is worth? Don't answer! Wait until you see Bloomberg, BBC, Forbes, top tier national and regional news outlets. Reactive PR, data PR, expert commentary, over 70 team members at your disposal. This product is so hot I need a fan! And then listen to what campaigns we do at no extra charge. Gain character wages, bananas and sleep, best dates for dogs, luckiest UK areas, and many more. All for just how much did you guess? 10,000? 20,000? Even more? No! It's just £5,500. That's right. It's 5.5 grand. It's an incredible value, but it's true. It's digital PR from Search Intelligence. Order today. P.O. Box, searchintelligence.co.uk. Except B2B clients.
Chris started in content marketing in 2004. By 2014, he began a career in SEO. He is a speaker and online educator. He taught data analytics and visualization at University of Miami. He is the founder of Made You Click and Niche.site. Please welcome Christopher Levy.
Christopher, my man, welcome to the show.
Great to see you again, Paul.
All right, everyone, give a round of applause. I'm going to get right into it. This is the first question I ask all my SEO professionals that come on here. In 1 minute or less, how does Chris get ranking on page 1 of Google?
Well, it's really evolved over the years, but it's really a combination of three things. One, it's your sponsor, it's Ferry, it's quality links. Two, it's content that's relevant to the user, not something that's churned out by AI, not something that's got a whole bunch of chefs in the kitchen. It's best to get somebody that actually knows what they're talking about, to generate some content based on their experience, based on their expertise, and leave it alone and trust the system to work. And it's about having a good user experience. So we've seen a lot in the Google antitrust documents and internal emails that user signals mean a heck of a lot more than we thought. I think only Rand Fishkin was really out on the island a few years ago trumpeting that. So good UX, good content, good links, and just trust the process.
Love that. First knowledge bomb of today. Let's rewind this quick. Take us way back to 2004 and then 2014 when you first got into SEO.
Sure. So I went to a very small military college in New York City where I was the only humanities major in my field, which made me the paper guy. If somebody needed a paper on campus, I was the one that wrote it. And, the instructor said, hey, wait a minute, we've got something here where you can write for different audiences, different subjects, do the research, put it all together. Maybe that's your career. And I started working in the New York City museum system, but spoiler alert, museums don't have a lot of money. So I started going to work for auction houses, writing their PR, writing their lot descriptions, writing their early social media posts, writing the auction catalogs, account management, things like that. Fast forward to 2014, I met a great SEO named Dave DiGregorio, who's now with Sterling Sky. Mm-hmm. And he was doing some optimization on my content for an auction house based in New Jersey. And he said, I really like your writing, change up a couple of things, and I think that you can get into SEO writing. So I pivoted from writing marketing copy to content that was really designed to rank. Mm-hmm. Around 2019, I started getting involved with strategy, with technical, worked for smaller agencies, then went in-house with a couple of large companies like Polaris, if you ever had like an ATV or a snowmobile. Yeah. Did a stint at AmSiv on Lily Ray's team, got to work on some big brands there. Then that opened up some other opportunities, working on ClearLink, a large publisher, working at other agencies on small business sites.
Love that. So what made you interested in SEO? Like, how'd you continue your journey into SEO?
So I think it's the New Yorker in me. And when I say New Yorker, I mean downstate, I mean the city. And it's very competitive. Mm-hmm. And I've always enjoyed writing. I've always enjoyed tinkering around with websites, but SEO is really competitive, right? Only one person is going to get that position 1 ranking. So the fact that it combines, content writing, user experience, and, going toe to toe with, some really incredible professionals out there to try to get those top spots, it's a lot of fun. If you're just a writer, if you're just a designer, you have that creative aspect. You don't really know what's going to happen there. But with SEO, the data doesn't allow for any BS. It's not really the Mad Men era where we're sitting around talking about thoughts and feelings. At the end of the day, every action we take as an SEO, we can pull up a report, which we'll talk about a little bit later, and show did it work or did it not work. There's no BS and lots of competition.
Love that, and can't wait to talk more about data. But before we get to that, I'm curious, like, how'd you learn it? You mentioned that you met a cool SEO that was kind of, optimizing your content. I mean, did you learn from him? How'd you learn it back then, or even till this day?
Trial and error. Trial and error is always going to be the best way to learn. I taught digital marketing for a couple of years at University of Miami, New Jersey Institute of Technology, other programs. But the reality is the best way to learn is to roll up your sleeves, get in there and try something. And if it works, you learn from that. And if it doesn't work, arguably you learn more from that. So I had the opportunity to work on some projects early in my career where, I could try things and, okay, that didn't work. Try something else. That did work. Let's figure out why it worked. Let's try to do it more at scale. If you don't have the necessary skills, background, and experience, learning from others, taking their tips, taking their guides, it's really that step 4. Step 1, 2, and 3 is always going to be the doing it yourself, which is slower and more arduous, and not always does someone have a site that they can work on and experiment with. But that's really how you learn the fundamentals, I believe.
Love that. You mentioned like guides and stuff like. So what were some? I'm curious. Like, what were some of your resources, or any one you followed in particular?
Well, I think that like many, I got on Search Engine Journal, SEO Roundtable, Search Engine Land. The first part of my morning was reading all of those for many years and figuring out, did somebody push a button that ruined my job for the rest of the day? Then, of course, the only social media I'm really active on is LinkedIn. And, I follow a lot of great SEO influencers on there, too many to answer, who are always sharing, tips and tricks and learning about that. But really, it comes to muscle memory and keeping your hand on the mouse, so to speak. If you're not actively working on it on a regular basis, you struggle to really learn and keep up. Even if I take a week-long vacation or something has changed and I have to scramble and keep up. So I think that's super important too, is just staying active, doing as much hands-on work as you can, tracking what you do, and developing that memory, because all of the great SEOs that we look to for advice and guidance, they all started from somewhere and learned by trial and error, and that's really the best way.
Love that. And fast forward to today. I mean, can you tell us more about MajorClick and Niche.site?
Sure. Well, during the early part of the pandemic, so this was April 2020, my wife and I, we just moved into a 700 square foot apartment in downtown Miami with the idea we're going to have a really great time, and then whoops, everything locked down, and we were sort of trapped in a very small apartment. And she said to me that, you're not going to sit on the couch watching Netflix and playing video games. So MajorClick was a way of getting my taxes in order to where I would work my 9-to-5 job, and then I'd start hustling nights and weekends when everything was closed and everything was shut down, and it slowly evolved over time. Niche.site is a play on words. As every SEO sort of has a niche site, and it's all the rage the past year, especially with the way that they've been impacted with the recent helpful content updates and spam updates there. I've worked on large publisher sites. I advised Red Ventures when I was with AMSIV, and I worked in-house with ClearLink on sites like the Penny Hoarder sites that would get 100 million plus sessions. And these are companies that make tough business decisions because they have a lot of employees to take care of. And as writers become more expensive and solutions become cheaper, whether it's offshore, whether it's a combination of a writer and a tool like a surfer, whether it's over-reliance on LLM technology like some sites have done, writers have been displaced either by being laid off or switched to part-time or had their rates cut or had their work cut. So this is going to be a way for me to evaluate the quality of subject matter experts tied to data, so that the writers can then show to employers, show to publications, here's the conversions. Here's the monetization behind our actual articles, so that they can continue to have careers. I'm sort of a Luddite. I did a speech at DMO Advanced in Napa last fall, basically just saying how writers, how publishers can push back a little bit against emergent technology, because human jobs are important. It seems like right now a lot of the technology is making art and making content, when in reality it should be doing the busy work so that humans can spend more time creating art and content.
Love that. Love that. Okay, now it's the topic of today, which is data visualizations. Storytelling with data. I mean, this is something that you've taught at University of Miami, and I'm happy to learn more from your experience on especially applying this to SEO. So, but to backtrack, I would love to talk about how long you've been working with data. You've been working with as long as when it was still Universal Analytics to GA4. I mean, can you explain the differences between GA4 and Universal Analytics from a data visualization perspective?
So, Universal Analytics is a session-based model. Now, from just anecdotally talking to people in the SEO community, I'm in the minority that I actually prefer GA4 because it's an engagement-based model. And it really ties to SEO because it's been a very long time since I've been asked to report or track or hang my hat on sessions. Similar to if we had a ice cream shop. If we were saying, well, we had 10,000 people in the ice cream shop, do we really care? No, we care how many people bought ice cream. Did revenue go up, right? And GA4 does a much better job at tracking users, people as I like to call them, engaging with the site, using the pages on the site, using the elements on the site, much better than Universal Analytics did. In many ways, it doesn't matter how many people visited your site unless you're a publication trying to qualify for an ad layer threshold. But in most of the work SEOs are doing, it's going to be tied to business goals, some sort of conversion action. And GA4 has a lot of different conversion paths that Universal Analytics does not have. It also has a light version of heat map software. So, for example, I don't really care how much time somebody spent on a page, because you could get up and check your mail, go get something to drink, go somewhere else. Whereas GA4 is more attuned to scroll depth and engagement with elements. So how are they actually interacting with the content on the page itself? So again, sessions, more of a vanity metric. That's going to be your Universal Analytics. GA4, much more robust in terms of tracking user engagement, and not just on websites, but for those working on app-based platforms. Universal Analytics just did web, and you needed something like Firebase to really track the app, where GA4 brings it all together in a streamlined package. In terms of the data visualization aspect, that's a little bit more complicated. In terms of the user interface, the SEO community really found the user interface of Universal Analytics to be much superior. In fact, I do as well. I could jump into Universal Analytics and answer any question in about 3-4 minutes. But Google Analytics 4 made some choices that pushes the visualizations in a way that Google thought that would be most helpful, that doesn't always align with the feedback I've gotten from my friends and colleagues within the community. That's why third-party software that allows you to customize a little bit is my preference. Going into GA4, trying to drill down, trying to get specific data, even the amount of time that I spend in the software still is a struggle, and I prefer to opt out and go over to a third-party software that filters it down a little bit more for me.
Love that. And speaking of third-party visualization software, are you referring to let's say Looker Studio, or is there something else?
Yeah, Looker Studio is probably the ones that most are going to be familiar with. That's Google's proprietary tool. This past year, I've been using a premium tool, Tap Reports. That's a little cost prohibitive, but earlier this year, I was working with north of 50 clients. And when you're doing bulk, it's sometimes a little bit better to have a premium tool that can aggregate all of the different sites under one hood. So in that particular tool, there was a filter view for every single client, where within Looker Studio, you would have to make an individual report each time for each client. So depending on your client load, if you feel that time is money, you might look at some of the premium options that have that aggregate view of all your sites.
Love that. What was the name of that tool again?
Tap reports.
Tap reports.
Tapflex, it's called, yeah.
So I'm curious, can you bring in other data sources into Tap reports, or is this just mainly for GA4?
So it does have connections with some of the SEO tools, though not nearly as many as Looker Studio. I'm not sure if people are aware, but Google's Looker Studio has over 900 additional non-Google API connections, including Ahrefs, SEMrush, Screaming Frog, and develop custom reports within the Looker Studio interface. Tap has integrations with Moz, I believe. Yes, Moz, though they are working on other ones. But because it is a premium tool and it is fairly expensive for what it is, you will be given an account manager, and they can work with you on developing custom API polls.
Love that. So do you still use because Looker Studio that's free, right? Is that free? That's free. Okay, so I mean, do you still use Looker Studio for anything, or you pretty much transitioned to? I totally forgot the name of the tool you're using.
No, I still use Looker Studio.
Okay.
It has some very good API connections, particularly with Ahrefs, where it pulls in things like backlink reporting, site audits, all the data that's within there. Though another hot topic of the industry the past year, it does cost Ahrefs credits to use, meaning that if you use every Ahrefs option within Looker Studio, that I believe that every time the report is loaded, it takes 21 credits. So if I create a Looker Studio report that has Ahrefs data within it, it'll pull 21 credits on my account. Then if I send you the report to view and I don't download it as a PDF, if I give you the live version, it'll take another 21, meaning for you and I to look at the same report, that's at 42 credits. So again, cost prohibitive.
Got it. And we have Liam in the live chat. It says hi to the both of us, and super interesting topic here. And again, guys, this is where I actually met Christopher. It was in Liam's Slack group, and it's a great group of people, great group of SEOs and marketers. So be sure to check out Mostly Marketing. And for those in the live chat, if you have any questions, be sure to ask them in the live chat, and I will address them in the order that they are received. And make sure that they're on topic on visualization. But back to some of my questions I had to get going was, I'm curious, so what are some cool insights that you're able to kind of pull for SEO with these third-party tools?
So I think that the main purpose is going to be to get the data in front of your clients and stakeholders in a way that you can control. More so than getting insights for yourself, the purpose of visualization is to get it in front of the powers that be. As a personal best practice, I never like my clients to get into analytics, to get into Search Console, to get into Ahrefs, to get into SEMrush themselves. That just causes more problems than it's worth. So, for example, if you look at Google Search Console as a client, maybe with a novice, you're going to see a lot of errors in there, and it'll be something like, well, robots text blocked these pages. Well, we intended those to be blocked, or these pages have been redirected. Well, yes, we redirected them. And then you go into the SEMrush site checker, and it'll tell you something like these pages have been excluded by the robots text, or it'll say, well, this page has a bad title and it's a paginated page. And without framing the narrative for people that have less experience, typically your clients and your stakeholders don't, it allows that filter view to just get the information that's in front of them. So for example, whatever your business goals are, whatever your SEO goals are. You really can build out custom reporting that highlights that. So let's say that you have a client that's in a couple of states and they're looking to do a little bit better in Texas. So what you can do quickly in Data Studio is to really drill down into the region level, which is what they call a state, and throw in Texas, and then the city level, and start putting in all the different metros there. And then you can go into the different dimensions and metrics and pick the ones that you feel are most relevant. Are they, visiting key pages? Are they more engaged? Are they converting? What cities are converting at the highest rate? What cities are seeing the much traffic, and things like that? Because one of the things that not some SEOs get wrong, just from observation, is not tying enough into what the business goals are going to be, right? Because let's just say that you're working with, say, a law firm. I worked with a number of law firms this year. Okay, well, you ranked for a keyword. That's nice, and you got some traffic. That's nice. You got some additional people on the site, but ultimately, you want to understand what pages people are filling out the lead form or to click the call on, what regions they're coming from, and what queries are bringing them onto the page, so that you can lean into that. I really think that most SEOs are missing the CRO, the conversion rate optimization aspect. A lot of what I'm doing these days is a hybrid of SEO and CRO. So building these dashboards that are really conversion focused, lead focused, goal focused, which GA4 allows a lot more customability, I guess is the word, than UA, is super important. And you never want the client, the stakeholder, to come to you with questions about, GA4 or Search Console or any of these tools, because then they're going to misinterpret it. They're not going to have a full understanding. They're not going to have the knowledge base, and they're going to be overly concerned. So the benefit there is controlling the narrative and managing the client relationship.
Excellent.
Love that. And today you were actually going to kind of demonstrate or show us some sample reports of and how we can kind of create some of these visualizations from. Is that right? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to walk through a couple of the default reports that here, because those are going to be the ones that can really give people a good understanding.
Love it. Oh no, did we lose them?
Oh, still here.
Okay.
First time using the share screen feature on this app. So let's see.
Yeah. All right. And guys, if you have any questions while we wait for Chris here, go ahead and ask him live chat and I will get them ready. So let me go ahead and cut to his screen here and see what he has to show us.
So you can see here that Google's built some default reports here. So the first one pulls Google Search Console data. And this is a little bit more clean than the Search Console that UI that Google has if you just go and visit the website. And this is something that you would want to, present to clients more than just, shipping this off to them and telling them to look at Google Search Console. So for example, here it's really tracking what pages are performing the best, both in terms of impressions and clicks. And this is live and interactable, so you can cycle between clicks, or you can take a look at the different CTRs and see what's performing and what's performing well there. And also it's got the different query reports, and it's much easier to dive into rather than the Google Search Console default. And you can customize the branding, you can customize the colors, you can customize the different fields, the time frames here, and this gives you a much high level of view on this. And then if we look at the GA4 report, then this is just the default report. And again, it's going to be highly customizable, but this looks to be a little bit more to what some of the users of Universal Analytics were looking for here. So just in this default report with no customization, we can see how the users are doing over time based on this time comparison, engagement. But then down here, we can take a look at things like the different conversion reportings. And this is really what I was talking about here. These are just two of the default reports, right? Like view item or add to cart. So you can get very granular here, and you can put in things like scroll depth, which is important if you have an ad or a call to action, and you want to see, did the person scroll down far enough to trigger that ad? Did they add to cart and not check out? So there's a shopping cart abandonment aspect to GA4 that really was not usable under Universal Analytics. You can see here that it can tell you, it can quickly compare all the different sources of the different traffic, much easier, very similar to Universal Analytics. And then you can see here that there's also going to be a lot more events in terms of what was available in Universal Analytics, including flagging cohorts as top spenders or predicted top spenders just based on the learning model of this that you can customize here to get an idea of where the users are going and where they're engaging with. Again, the landing page report, which is pretty interesting and more in line with what we were seeing on Universal Analytics. So all the things that we hate about Google Analytics 4 and love about Universal Analytics are pretty easy to recreate within Looker Studio. And again, for the e-commerce, you can see here that this is just the default report with no customization. You can see, who viewed an item, who added it to the cart, who checked out, and who purchased. So you can see where you're having problems there. And of course, the traditional, demographic metrics, what device they're using, what country. And again, this is all highly customizational within the tool.
Love that. So I'm curious, this is just right out of the box. So what, in your opinion, what are some best practices of creating some custom metrics that are more insightful for SEO?
That's a very good question. And I think that it comes down to really being focused on making sure that you're in line with the business goals, right? So let's say that you're dealing with, we had the tip from Joy Hawkins on realtors earlier in the intro. Realtors are going to be looking particularly on form fills and click to calls, right? There's not going to be any add to cart, not going to be any e-commerce. So what you can do is you can customize different events. The click to call, very simple. Form, you can get a little bit more advanced. There's data that shows that for every form field that the form contains, the abandonment is much higher. So you can customize based on, this gets a little bit more advanced, based on how the different form field is coded, to where you can say, okay, somebody clicked on name, filled it out, didn't like the address part, or maybe didn't like the phone number part. And then you can modify your field to get a higher conversion rate. Because if you had let's say you had a 5% conversion rate and you had 10,000 sessions, what traditional SEO would teach is, let's get to 20,000 sessions. And that way we'll double the conversions, even if we're holding it to 5%. But I think that what you really have to do is look at that 5% conversion rate and say, wait a minute, we've already got 10,000 people on the site. What can we do to get that conversion rate up? If we're only focusing on more and more traffic is finite. There's going to be a point where you just hit the wall. There's nobody else to go. So what are we doing with all these people that are on our site? And the 95% that came to our site says, hey, we don't want to do business with you. And that's something that I think that SEOs really need to invest more time in, and data helps with that. Because as we're dealing with all these challenging updates and traffic erosions and ranking disruptions, if you're getting some traffic, even if it's less traffic than you were getting, what can you do to capture more of them in your lead system? And the data visualization helps with that, right? So something like scroll depth. If you put out a new article in the universal analytics, you'd say, okay, what was the bounce rate? What was the time spent on page? But now you can customize it very carefully to say scroll depth. Did they get to 50% of the page, 25% of the page? Where did they stop? Because then you can look at your content and say, well, maybe there was something in there. Was there a disruptive ad? Was there a controversial piece of content? Was there a bad call to action? And then you can get more specific without spending a lot of money on a heat map software to where they're abandoning the content. And then you can refine and do the O in optimization, which is, getting everything a little bit more cleaner, a little bit more in line with what the users are expecting. Because if you're just super focused on increasing traffic, it's only a small part of it. And really, the conversion rate optimization goes hand in hand with that. Because at least with the clients I'm dealing with now, they don't care about rankings. They don't care about impressions. They care about their QuickBooks. And it's not enough that I rank. It's not enough that I get impressions. I've got to get the conversions. Even if my hat says SEO, they don't have the budget for a CRO. They want leads. And again, that really is contained within the reports and the customizations and finding some of the blind spots.
Love that. Okay. So I'm curious if you can do this, because you mentioned scroll depth a couple times, and you have to create an event in I think GA, right? Or GA4, and in order to, or is that like a default like conversion that you can use? Because I want to think about, like, if someone wants to go in right now and start like creating more conversions within GA4, is it pretty easy to create these type of conversions that you're referring to?
So I would recommend creating them in Google Tag Manager.
Oh, okay.
So in Google Tag Manager, you can create all sorts of variables and triggers that meet your needs. So within Google Tag Manager, which is going to be linked to your GA4 account, you can create, a scroll depth where you can have a conversion or an event. In this case, it would just be an event that says, did a user hit 25% of the page, 50% of the page, 75% of the page, 100% of the page? Here's an interesting thing as well. If you have embedded videos on your website, there's also a way to track how far within the video people watched. Did they get to a certain percent of the video? So that way you can track where they abandoned a web-based video. But for YouTube purposes, all the YouTube data, because it is a Google property, can also be brought into Looker Studio at no cost and build reports around the YouTube videos as well directly within Looker Studio.
Love that. Okay. So I'm curious too, like, when you set it up, how is it somewhat easy, or do you have to is there a kind of learning curve for this? Because I'm just curious. I think the learning curve of what GA4 is, and now you mentioned Google Tag Manager, has kind of like deterred people like why they don't want to learn it. But can you tell us more?
Well, to quote Kennedy, we don't do things because they're easy. We do them because they're hard. And, we want to have challenges. Yeah. Google Tag Manager has a debugger within it, so that when you are creating a new event, you can test to see if it fires, and if it doesn't fire, it will walk you through what went wrong and make sure that it's working. There's also the real-time data to make sure that everything is working. One thing I do like about ChatGPT and Claude and all of these other LLM softwares is that it's a really great way to make tutorials, right? So I wouldn't trust it for content. I don't want it used for that. But for example, if I were to go into GPT-4 and say, how do I create a tag built around firing an event for somebody that scrolled to 75% of a page? It would put that out in very simple, easy to follow steps. There are also a lot of great free resources on YouTube where you can follow along on your own. I don't want to plug anyone, but you know, I know you and I, when we were in San Francisco for Google Search Central last year, you know, Krista Seiden puts out a lot of great stuff. She's probably the gold standard with a lot of this, being an ex-Googler, but you know, teaching the course that I did, which was we had 6 modules, so probably about 12 hours. And over the course of that, you know, students who had not just no background with Google Tag Manager, Google Analytics, but very little software or marketing experience, were able to put together the basics. But if it were easy, you know, we probably would be less comfortable than we are now. So there is a little bit of a challenge. But again, it goes back to trial and error. I did not read a book on this. I just had to, you know, plug away with this and, you know, figure out what's working, what's not working, and stick with it until it works. So I think that one of the most important soft skills to anyone working within SEO is persistence. And if it doesn't work the first time, you know, keep trying. And if it didn't work the 5th time, you have to keep trying. And also, one of the things I really like about the SEO community, and, you know, plug to Liam and Mostly Marketing, is I've never asked someone an SEO question and gotten blown off or gotten a rude response. Generally, we're a pretty helpful industry. And, you know, if you don't understand something or you can't get something to work, you can definitely ask someone and they'll help. And the great thing about this is that it's very rare for the issue that you're having to be the first and only time this issue occurred, meaning that the information's out there. I remember as SEOs, we're reliant on people to go out there every day and do searches to solve problems. So if you're struggling with something like Google Analytics 4, if you're struggling with something like Google Tag Manager, if you're struggling with something like Looker Studio, throw in a query. You're not alone. And there's a lot of very easy solutions out there.
Love that. And speaking of your course that you taught in University of Miami, I'm on data visualization. Is that available online somewhere for anyone to kind of view?
It was during the pandemic, but it was not a recorded course. It was actually a live. It was actually a live session where, you know, 3 hours on the weeknights and then 5 hours on the weekend mornings. It was all taught live with about 30 students and 2 instructors with different slide lectures and different breakout exercises and, you know, hands-on learning. I had the privilege of teaching over 300 students in that program. Made a lot of competition for myself down here in South Florida, though, because now they're out in the industry looking for clients, looking for jobs. But it was a great service during the pandemic. You know, in the early days, we forget now that people were wondering, are businesses going to reopen? So it really helped a lot of people, you know, maybe who were in retail or some kind of service that wanted to pivot into, you know, what was traditionally considered an office job into that. So very helpful in that. But no, not available online anymore. I'm not one of these course gurus. I'm not here to sell or promote a course on data analytics, just to stress the importance of, you know, how it's helped me, how I've used it, and hopefully how it can help others.
Love that. But I challenge you to actually put something together for us, even if if not for sale, just like you mentioned, to help people, others out. I think with your knowledge comes, you know, you can share all that again with not just 300 people, but thousands out there. All right. Okay. So, guys, we're coming close to the end of our show here. I want to make sure that you guys in the audience, if you have any questions, ask them in the live chat now while I come down to my last few questions here. But, you know, beyond specific tools and platforms, what are some other fundamental principles do you think effective data visualization for SEO metrics are?
Well, depending on, you know, what your revenue stream is for yourself. But if you're working in-house, if you're working for an agency, or if you're a freelancer working with clients, this is really the most important aspect of what I do, because I have to sing for my supper. I have to every month sit down with a client, sit down with a stakeholder, and show, here's how things are going. And they're not just going to listen to my opinion of what's going on. These are business owners, and they might not understand SEO, they might not understand the nuance of what I'm doing, but they understand ones and zeros. So data can tell a story when you put it into one of these software applications like a Looker Studio to show clients exactly what's going on. And the reason why I like these is because they aggregate. Instead of pulling from GA4, pulling from Google Search Console, pulling from Ahrefs, pulling from Google Ads, if there's ads running, it can all be all under the hood under one dashboard that you can customize and verify before a client ever sees it. The worst thing for anyone in the industry is for when a client finds the site is down, or when a client finds that something is wrong. That's usually a good time to go update your LinkedIn and get ready for your next opportunity if they're the ones that are finding the problems. So staying on top of everything is super important. And also in Looker Studio, again, which is remarkably free, thank you, Google, you can actually download nice PDF versions of it, so they don't even have to view the web version. And this is a little bit dangerous, but you can also schedule a send to where within Looker Studio, it will send out the report to different stakeholders, different clients, different team members at regular intervals. I don't like to use that. I like to take a look at everything before it goes out. Measure twice, cut once, but that feature is helpful to some.
Love that. I didn't see any questions come in, so I wanted to ask my last question that I ask all my SEO professionals that come on here. If someone wanted to become an SEO professional themselves, what advice would you give them?
Don't be afraid by the success that others have, because you're coming into the middle and the end of the movie. All of the best SEOs, started somewhere, learned, got better. I don't want to sound overconfident, but I'm in Florida. If NASA called and they gave me the right resources, they answered all my questions, the right books, the right databases, if I really sat there and focused, over time, many years, I could figure out rocket science. So don't ever feel that it's impossible to learn, too hard to learn, too nuanced to learn. Definitely get in there, learn what you can, and don't be intimidated by anyone else's success. One of the things I mentioned, I only use LinkedIn because Instagram, people are always posting their best selves, their vacations, their most expensive dinners, all the stuff that they buy. So everybody looks like they're a Kardashian on a reality show. Yeah. Same is true a little bit for the SEO community. People are always posting graphs that are going up, charts that are going up, wins. I would challenge the SEO community to post more losses. You can learn from a loss. You can learn from a mistake. All you can learn from a win is complacency and overconfidence. So I would say to everyone out there, don't be afraid, don't be intimidated. Start small, learn, grow, take in what others have to give, but by all means, filter it, question it, and find out if it works for you. Just because I say something, just because anybody says something, it doesn't make it true. It's just my opinion, it's my experience, it what works for me. And you have to find out what works for you, because you're not me.
Love that. And for this episode to feel complete for you, any last comments, and how can people get a hold of you?
Sure. Well, I've got my vanity site, which is just chrislevy.com. Always try to protect your name, but it's a funny thing. There is a very famous Cuban-American actor named William Levy. And his son, unfortunately, is named Christopher Levy, and he's got a lot of press. He's got a lot of followers on Instagram. So I don't know how much of an SEO I am, because I can't even rank for my name #1 with an exact match domain. So, and again, on LinkedIn, you can find me if you connect with me on LinkedIn and I'm not there. Send flowers. Something must be terribly wrong, because I'm always on LinkedIn.
Love that. And since you are on this show, this video, a lot of my guests have always ranked #1 for their name, even though, or at least on the first page for their name, even though they had some other celebrity person on there, because Google loves showing videos, and if they don't have any videos just on there, this one will show up. All right, so guys, can you hold on for one quick second while I sign off here? Hold on for one quick second. All right, guys, that concludes another episode of the SEO Video Show. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And don't forget to visit our sponsors, SEOnitro.com and SEO-intelligence.co.uk. And I will see you next week. Peace out.
Thank you for watching. Hope you come back next week. Make sure to subscribe. You don't want to miss a thing. Hope you learn something new, because the vibe is incredible. From the special SEO professionals, SEO video show. Let's work. Want to see you be an SEO expert. Paul Andre De Vera helping you step it up. No delay right now. Time to level up. Hey, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe. Woo!